Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Punaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Svetasvatara Upanishad. We have been looking at uh, the various
That's the volume.
yeah.
Just to make sure.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to go any higher than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The various wrong perceptions spoken of as viparya, wrong perceptions, wrong cognitions, and they are 50 in number. So we have seen some of them, and we will take the rest because these things are 50 technically, but suppose the 50th one combines with the first one, so it becomes 51.
Oh.
And and there you go, it keeps on and on and on and on and on and
Even one will be hard for me to remember.
yes, even one or two or three, what happens, it will snowball, and these are the general things that the commentator has spoken about, and also these are mentioned in the Sankhya Sutras of the Sankhya. So here we are. We have been enumerating the Mahamoha and Tamishra. So we are on page number 61. So just 5, 6 or 7 lines from the top, we have Tamishra. Gloom is of 18 kinds.
Glue.
We had seen Moha and Mahamoha. And it's nothing, it's just a kind of a permutation combination of what we've already gone through. So, gloom. And tamas is actually gloom, something that covers up. Like the Bhagavad Gita says, Agyanena avritam jnanam. Knowledge is covered by ignorance. And that's why beings get deluded. Agyanena avritam jnanam tena muyyanti. Like fire is always enveloped with smoke, it's always associated with smoke. So everything that we have, whatever we are is associated with a kind of an ignorance. This is important because mm, this world is a mixture of known and unknown, and we always need to take a stand on the borderline. It's important because if we take a stand on the known, there won't be any, as they say, spice to life. I know it. There won't be any challenges. If you take a stand in the unknown, a life of ignorance is
Not fun.
you take a stand on the borderline. And this is what these two things keep on revolving over and over. When you take a stand on the borderline, you push back the unknown. So this is what happens. So here we are. We know certain truths. How do we know? We know. Like I know I exist. This is indubitable and nobody can shake that. Nobody can prove that I don't exist. I know I exist. This is being. This is pure being. A few days back, in fact, in Santa Barbara, one nun is asking me, "What did you do the whole day?" I said, this is the problem with you Americans. So what is the problem? You want to be up and doing.
Yeah, too much doing.
The Indian way is being.
Being.
Asti. So this is where you got to just be. This is the, you can say, and if you can raise it to the highest level, there you are. You intuit the highest reality. Yes.
Is that part of consciousness? Can you identify consciousness as being same thing?
Yes, it is being. It is consciousness. Yeah. It is the very essence of yourself, the very essence of this world. That is being. In many places, many times, we see, why is this happening to me? Why is that happening to me? Why is this? This is not good. This is not right. We have a kind of a moral mind that understands justice, fairness, harm. We know. And we will not deliberately go and harm somebody. We will not deliberately go. If there's something wrong, obviously, the jails are full of such people. But a normal person will not harm another. He will be fair, and he will always be unselfish. That's the, you can say, the core of a normal person. It is there. Now these things get a little clouded. That being gets a little clouded with, let's do this, let's do that. Sit down quietly and meditate, and hear sound to meditate. For 2 minutes I'm meditating. After a while, the mind says, "What are you doing sitting down quietly? Let's do something. Let's go to the Antarctica."
Yeah.
So then I draw my mind back in. I said, just a bit, just a minute. Let me just be, and not let I have to do something. But then again comes that doing bit. So the moment I step into that mode of doing things, manifesting this consciousness in different areas, I come under these misconceptions, these viparyaya, these things have been spoken of as 50 in number. Okay. So, and then I get caught in my own, you can say, web of doing. So that's why they say it's advised, take your stand on the knowledge and the ignorance borderline. There you are. We keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And slowly, we come to a stage where we can look on both sides of the fence, as I say, and come across a real, you can say, stability. We must be stable in knowledge, and at the same time we must be able to explore. Otherwise, what's the point in just being there? You must have some kind of struggle, and struggle for knowledge is the highest struggle. That's, yes, because it's not only helping you, but it's going to help others also. Everything that has gone into furthering human knowledge has helped humanity. That person may be a kind of a scientist sitting in a lab somewhere, unknown, but he is working on something which has changed humanity in a few years or something like that. So this is the result of knowledge. Keep on pushing. So Tamishra is of 18 kinds, and there you got to confront it. Why do we need to confront this Tamishra? we need to confront Tameshwara because you are by nature light. There's a light there. Just this morning, Myron was saying, he came, Suprabhatam. I said, wow, what does it mean? Mark is inquiring. Su is good and Prabhatam is morning. It's good morning. It comes from the word Pa. Light is the root. The sun is called Bhaskara. Bhaswara. Bhavasagara. Something that shines. This is part of your inner nature. Knowledge shines. Always. It throws light. This is the, you can say, characteristic of knowledge. And that's the reason why knowledge is called kind of a light. And as the Bhagavad Gita also says, knowledge destroys. It's like fire eating at wood and burning it down to ashes. So knowledge also burns down ignorance. Yataidangshi samidhogni bhasmasat kurute arjuna jnanagni dagda karmanam. So this is where you find that. So why go into all these things? Somewhere to make your stand. You've got to be there, take a stand. This is the borderline, my borderline. Each one of us has a different borderline between knowledge and ignorance. We take a stand there and confront this different misconceptions. So Tamishra, gloom, is of 18 kinds. By Tamishra is meant the anger that comes to one who fails to achieve with the help of the 8 yogic powers. Don't take this 8 yogic powers literally, but someone who has risen to the very zenith of human capabilities. Okay, and if there's a power, I have risen to the highest. If there is fame or name or whatever or intelligence, he or she has risen to the highest level that can be acquired in that particular body. But even after having all these things with you, you may fail to achieve what you had set out for. Oof, there you are. So that's a kind of anger. It's a kind of frustration. Rather, frustration is a much better word than a thing. So, what does a person set out to acquire? Things that he or she has perceived in the external world, or things that one has heard or learned or imagined, like heaven. Swami Subodhananda was very curious. He used to love to read these Puranic stories, mythological stories. Saying, one day he was wondering whether these things are really true or no. And I had mentioned this there. Suddenly he finds himself outside his body in heaven. And he sees everything is so white, suffused with white light, and people, the beings there, not people, beings are talking in a mixture of some Sanskrit and some other language. He couldn't get it properly, and everything is so pure and so nice and light and happy. So then Sri Ramakrishna appears and says, "Come, I'll take you around." Took him around. Before Sri Ramakrishna would start giving him a guided tour of things, they were asking, how did you manage to come here? You were a mortal being. How did you manage to come here? So he says, I've come by whose grace you are all gods. So he meant Sri Ramakrishna. Then Sri Ramakrishna comes and takes him the other two. And then he's saying, now Koka, go back. So, no, I don't want to go back. So who wants to go back? No, no, you go back. And he is arguing against going back. And Sri Ramakrishna puts his hand on his head and pushes him. And then he pushes him. Suddenly, Subodhananji find himself in his body here on the earth. He gets, oh God,
Mm.
here you are. So, things we had seen or experienced, and things we had heard, imagined, or read, something like that. Even with the zenith of your capabilities, your powers, you're not been able to acquire that. And it's always like that. Always. We think we have this now, but we open our hands and hey, what happened? It was an illusion. It isn't there inside. So these things are part of you can say existence. We may reach up to it. So these are the 18 kinds of things, 18 kinds of gloom that covers it. Even with the 8 superpowers that you have, you have not been able to acquire the 10 things that you have imagined. What are the 10 things? Each sense has got its own, we can say, domain. So whatever you have heard from, seen, or sensed, tasted, all these things they come. So whatever you've heard, what you've experienced, and whatever you have imagined, or you can say heard, read, or something like that. Each according to its domain. So these are the 18. And the next is Andha Tamishra. Tamishra is okay, gloom. We understand. And Andha is blind. Blinding gloom. It's a degree higher. You leave these guys to their philosophy and they will make you crazy. Why did they keep on enumerating all these things to the very basics? Because somewhere we will find we are here. Many people would not like this, but many people would need it. Where exactly are we situated? Because in spiritual life, we have to situate ourselves, like I said, within time and space, within my, you can say, being. And then I start. And what is the first thing I encounter? Oh, this is my Andhatamishna, my blinding gloom. I have got to come out of this thing. Simple as that. Now the blinding gloom. It is like it's the same thing as gloom, but in a more intense sense. Andhatamishra, blinding darkness, is of 18 kinds. Okay. That sorrow in the form, these have been acquired by me through great effort, but they have not been enjoyed by me. And this time for death is at hand. Here. Death is a great leveler. He equals everything. Oh, you haven't acquired this thing? Yeah, I have got these things, but I've earned $1 billion. Now I want to spend it. Oh, yes. Too late. I've come here. Saying, can I give you $1 billion? He tells death, can I give you $1 billion? You come after a couple of years. Can't buy me. There you are. So your billions and zillions of dollars, all your great yogic powers, all whatever you were, comes to naught when you're faced with the inevitable. That is not something kind of a, at least to us, we were born in India and we are brought up there in the hill. It's not a kind of a terrible, you can say, monster, with a kind of a hood
And
and the skull and so on. Our God is nice. Yama is a very nice God. he was, even taken for a ride by Savitri. That's a long story. Savitri and Satyavan. Hmm. Satyavan, he was a prince and saying he was supposed to uh, get married and then. Oh no, sorry, he wasn't a prince. He became a prince later on, but he was actually a poor, you can say, forester's son. But actually, he was adopted and he was a okay. So Savitri was a princess, and amongst these Kshatriya clans, the warrior class, the girl chooses whom she will marry. It's called a Swayamvara. That was the old custom. It's not that, and they used to go around with the garland. All the kings, all the princes used to be in the assembly, and she used to go around, and there used to be a herald. This is these enumerating the qualities of that king or that prince, and the princess would go around and listen to that. Oh no, finally puts a garland round, and that.
And then didn't she get all the brothers too? What?
No, no,
like
no.
the
Oh,
part of us
that was exceptional. That
That's
was
all.
that got the whole family.
that's the whole family.
Yeah.
But in ancient times, polygamy, polyandry were there. But under very kind of critical conditions. In this case, this was a norm amongst uh, these warrior classes of people. The girl chooses, and no one can dissuade her. So when she chose Satyavan, hey, what is this guy? Finally, the astrologers came and said, "He's just got 1 year to live, but I'll marry him. It doesn't matter." What will he? You'll be a widow and all this. They're trying to dissuade her. Choose another. You see, all these great guys are sitting down there. Nothing doing. She marries and goes with to live in the forest because he's got no kingdom. He's got nothing. And after 1 year, king of death comes. He comes with his noose, throws it, and he was resting. Uh, his head was in a lap, and he takes her soul out, and she follows him. Please release Satyavan. I cannot live without him. And this and is saying, no, you see, the karma is like this, and it was foretold that he has to die now. I'm come to take his soul. And the long, it occurs in the Mahabharata. It's one of the most sublime, you can say, stories in the sense the arguments that Savitri gives. And Yama is unrelenting. And then slowly he starts, melting. And then he returns the soul of Satyavan. Go, my daughter, they say, your fate has released Satyavan. So it's in the Mahabharata, and even Swami Vivekananda has, I think there's a lecture, Savitri and Satyavan. Yes. So for us, that is not a big thing. Actually, the actual experience of death is, I would say, the very best time of a human being. There's a tremendous sense of release. The things leading up to the death, your karma and all these things are taking its toll on the body. You've got to go through it. There are some who just they go. But the actual point of death is it's an moment. And I was afraid of this thing. But that is the unknown. We are stepping into unknown. So that's the reason why we say, oh, you don't have to worry about it. That is not a big thing. We experienced death many times. And in the Yoga Sutras, it talks about abhinivesha. One of the things that holds a person back from yoga is abhinivesha, the fear of death. It's a fear of the unknown, actually. But once you know it, oh, it's a perfectly released. It's like a fish in a small, you can say, pot. Released in a kind of a big tank. Ooh. Yeah, obviously. So we as Vedantins should not be afraid of this death business. We need to be afraid of life.
Tricky bit.
Yeah. So this person, with all his attainments, is so frustrated because death has come. And he said, come. He throws a noose. Sometimes he sends his assistants. He doesn't come himself. If the soul is good enough. But in fact, I was inquiring with the Swami, and the Swami told about his own experiences that he had very severe pneumonia, and the doctor said that he's got just a few days to live. So you informed his parents, and his parents had come from a long distance to see their dying son. And the day before they arrived, he was there. He's saying, I was in a kind of a semi coma, comatose. And I seen all around my bed, there was some dark figures moving around, kind of a hazy thing moving around. So they are watching me. Four of them. Hey. Then you're looking at it. Oh, so these are the Yama's assistants. Yama is a god of that. He has four. Yeah. So he did. And suddenly he saw a door open, light shine through, and he seen Shri Krishna. And all these four figures simply vanished. And then he fell into sleep. And when he woke up, he was on the road to recovery. And the doctor was surprised. What happened? Hey, how is this? Here we have this. So, how does Sri Ramakrishna appear? You've been thinking about him all your life. And he'll appear. So, that's how you can conquer death. By a thoughts here, now. Who is Ramakrishna? He is the savior of this age. He's come specifically for people like us. We don't know worship, we don't know how to take your name, we don't know dhyana, we don't have bhakti, we don't have nothing. I'll have to come and take them. And you see, Swami Vivekananda he had studied law, and he was a kind of a advocate. He used to get all his friends. Sri Ramakrishna is called. We don't have any good friends. It means they were so low down on the spiritual scale. We don't have any friends. No, you do something for them. No, I cannot do anything for them. It will take a long time. And then Hazra was his friend. Hazra was a great character in Dakshineshwar. No, you do something for him. No, I will not do anything. No, please. He used to argue in our favor, Okay, I'll at a time of death, not now. And that's what's happening. You may see, where Sri Ramakrishna? Oh, all these years I've been calling out to him, not coming here. He is going to come there. At a time of death, he's going to appear. Have faith. So once he comes, you're free from the fear of death. Oh, you're here. And death comes and it doesn't have a sting. Oh, death, where is thy sting? Like Shakespeare, death, where is thy sting? All that. So he'll take you. So these are the 18 types. You've heard about all these things, you've experienced all the things, you've acquired all these things, and now death comes and you're frustrated, you're angry. Wait a while. No way. So these are called the Andatamishra. And with this, the 50 misconceptions Viparya have been enumerated, have been explained. The next is Ashakti. Asakti is attachments. Shakti is kind of a power,
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
And is a kind of a negative particle. Let's say there's no power there in you, there's no strength in you. So, Ashakti. And it is translated here in the book as disability. Shakti is an ability. You can do these things, I can do these things. And Ashakti is, I cannot do these things. So there are 28 kinds. For 28 kinds. The first 11 are the 10 sense organs in the mind. Every one of us, as we know, we have certain disabilities in our sensory system, in our motor system, and even in our minds. Like, I would like to run 100 meters faster than Bolt. Yeah, but I've got a back pain. I've got my leg pain. I've got a neck pain. It's not possible. You already have disabilities. So there is not one part in our body which is free from disability. There you are. Our senses are limited. Our minds are limited. Our hearing is limited. Everything is limited. So these abilities, there are various stories in the Upanishad. We won't go through it, but everything is not pure. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of gold has to be mixed with something, some impurity, or copper or something, in order to fashion ornaments, jewelry. So this body and the senses are not pure. They have to be injected with some impurities. Sometimes the impurities are more, sometimes less. I would like to meditate for 8 hours a day. And after 5 minutes, I see, oh, somebody is coming sitting beside me. What's this? Don't they know that I can meditate for 8 hours and they're disturbing me? That's your disability. So all these various things, they come and they disturb it. So these disabilities are there in our bodies and in our minds. So there are some people with, like I said, more or less these disabilities. When they are more, like, I have the power of speech, but the disability is so much. I am born dumb, or I am born deaf, or I am born blind. Or I am born stupid, a kind of idiot. Oh yes. So this due to karma, these things are, my abilities are being overshadowed by these disabilities. So here you have a Shakti. And then there are other 9 types of disabilities. More. 11 and 9. These they come from. Now, suppose I have something. I have got this. Okay. And I've got this. So, yeah. Am I really satisfied? Even if I get, yes, I was looking out for this. I should have been satisfied. Somewhere I look at someone else's computer and till this time I was okay. But I like, Hey, I look at someone's dress, I look at someone's shoes or hairstyle, and I'll, oh God. And I spent hours in trying to dress myself. And yeah, why did this person have to come here? To stand in front of me, to show me my defects? This absence of satisfaction, the various types of them. Nobody can really be satisfied, and nobody, you cannot satisfy anybody, however big, however small that person is, or however great your powers are. You can never satisfy. You kind of, in marriage, you make a kind of a contract. Yes, I will not leave you, you will not leave me. For the next 40 years, we'll be it at each other's throats. That's okay. But you're not going to run away, I'm not going to run away. It's a sense of responsibility. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to work it out, whatever differences will be there. So that I will be married, I will be satisfied. If I go to heaven, I'll be satisfied. If I go to hell, I'll be satisfied. I'll meet some of my old friends. You're not going to get satisfied. Not on earth, not on heaven. This is the way our bodies and minds have been tailored. Somewhere there has to be a divine discontent for you to come to spirituality. If everybody was perfect and everybody was satisfied, nobody would think about God. God? What's God? Hey, I'm fine. Swami Vivekananda says no, and he talks about it. People ask of me about a comfortable religion. No, there's no such thing as comfortable religion. There's no comfort anywhere. And religion is the last, you can say, resort of comfort. There. So, whenever there is a dissatisfaction, you try for something higher. And that's what actually drives us. You have to. And so, this thing that, so I'm fully satisfied. So, fine, that's okay with me. No, after a couple of minutes, no, I would need more. It also signals our inner nature. My nature is so vast. I cannot settle for something small. I won't settle for crumbs. I have a thirst for the highest. Like they say, no? In India, Swami Vivekananda said, if I have to rob, I'll rob the king's treasury. Okay, I'm not a poor man. Yeah. And if I have to shoot, I'll shoot a tiger, not a mouse. What's that? So even if I rob the king's treasury, then I'm always saying the detectives are going to be now active. They're going to trace me. They're going to follow me. Because no crime or no sin can be hidden for long. It has to come out. It will come out. So if that's the case, you always need, you will find that that dissatisfaction is there. Oh, I have prayed for the whole day. Now I'm satisfied. Even that will not. In sense, even your good karma, your neutral karma, your bad karma, whatever it is, there's always an element of, you can say, something is there that needs kind of fulfilling. A kind of a vacuum exists. So these it's enumerated in various ways. Why should I work? I know one at one time in this whole evolution, I will attain moksha. Why should I need to do meditation and prayer and japa and this and that? Okay, so fine, you'll get kicked around till that time you don't attain. Because in Hinduism, it is there that every one of us will become free. Moksha is for everyone. With trees and plants and animals and birds and this and that. In fact, one disciple asked Holy Mother, Mother, they say dying in Kashi, one is freed. I mean, that's a shortcut, you know. There are some places with a huge shortcut. They're saying, yes, because Kashi Maranat Mukti, they say those who die in Kashi are liberated. And so, what about these small creatures? They say, yes, here you are. To us, they seem small, but they have the life of their own. If you pay attention to some of these small forms of life, as I say, they're so wonderful, so wonderful. So, in God's eyes, there is no such thing as an insignificant life or a small life. It is life. And this life also will attain freedom. Like, you know, in Kashi, Sri Ramakrishna saw, you know that incident, no? He was taking a boat ride. Mathur Babu had hired a boat, and in the evening, you know, they were taking. Suddenly, he stands up and he's about to. He, he's standing almost on the prow of the boat, and the helmsman, like, hold, you might fall down. And suddenly, he goes into an ecstatic state. After that, he's relating that the boat was passing just opposite the Manikarnika Ghat. That's the very auspicious, you can say, place. And he's saying, I seen Shiva embodying all the seriousness of the world, sedately walking in the cremation ground. And when he comes to a soul which has just, you can say, died, in the sense, died in the body which has died, he comes there and he is also seeing the all-powerful Mahakali. She's untying the knots of karma, and Shiva is in whispering that Taraka Brahma mantra in the ear of that soul, and that soul gets a glimpse of Brahman and merges in that Brahman. So when the Pandits heard this, oh, we knew that anyone who dies in Kashi gets liberation, but we do not know how. But this is how. This is how it is. So Mahakali, the great Kali, she unties the knots of karma, and once the knots of karma are untied, Shiva gives that mantra. There you are. So here we are. That's a shortcut. No, God has kept certain days and certain times.
Can we ask Mother to untie our knots of karma now, or is it better to just allow that to happen?
No, you need to now. See, if you see Mother, okay, you take it as, you know, a given that your knots of karma have been untied. Just you don't have to pray separately for that. I want to see you, Mother. Reveal yourself. Then does your body go away? Mother, she's compassionate. She won't come with all that glory, you know. She'll come to you as Holy Mother. And the karma, Sri Ramakrishna gives an illustration. Suppose you have a rope and you burn it. That rope, that coil of rope will appear to have its old, you can say, coil. You know, it's still in the coil. It's burnt, but when you try to touch it, there, it's all ashes. So your karma, when you see Holy Mother, it will be like something like that. It's all burnt. if you see Holy Mother, wow,
Mm.
what more is there? You've seen the creatrix of this universe. Sometimes I feel so, you can say, speaking about the Holy Mother. Yeah, she's amazing. How could a great goddess appear like this as a Holy Mother? So simple, without any kind of show, and so poor and so hardworking, and so, I mean, you could keep on. There was one person who had heard that Bhagavati, that goddess, has been incarnated there. So he came from a long distance from Assam, and he thought that he will see the great goddess resplendent, on a throne and this and that. And he comes and sees Mother with a broom sweeping, and he's like, "You? Yeah, my son. You see, I am Mahamaya." He throws the broom aside and she wipes her hand on her sari and says, "Come."
Atma line 1. Call for Atma on line 1.
And yeah, so it's like, so yeah, she covers herself nicely. Those who can slightly penetrate that veil will see what it is. Ha. So sometimes I cannot, when I think about that, I get a little not upset but a little frightened also. One who could just with a wish create this whole universe has come like the Holy Mother, like this. Whom is she trying to fool us? Whom is she trying to fool? And she gives a lot of hints. Which form do you want? This one or this one? Any form will do, as we take other. No, it's a tremendous, it's a very saving grace. It's a great hope for all of us that we have come so close to the Mother. And now it's just a matter of, oh Mother, please be a little gracious now. What else? I'm your weak child. And she has come just to liberate us, not to keep us tied down to this world.
She's the sweetest person
Oh yes,
in
yes,
the whole universe.
yes. And that's what happens with Holy Mother. You read a life, think about her. Somewhere she is a great enchantress, the great, you can say, illusionist, and yet she keeps on breaking our illusions. All these illusions that enumerated here, she constantly breaks our illusions about ourselves, about the world, about the people, and this and that. After a while, and that's what spirituality is. You are under no illusions. Your vision is clear. You can see through things. That is Holy Mother's grace. Perfect. I know that these things are there. Yes. So that knowledge also, when the illusion goes, you got to hold on to something. And that knowledge is of Mother. She is the one who's holy. So when we sing Khandana Bhava Bandhana, Jagavandana Bandhitu, he is a breaker of these bondages. She also is a breaker of the bondage. Khandana is to break. Bhava Bandhana, the bondages of this existence of this world. So here we are. What is Mother doing? She's busy breaking our bondages, untying all our bonds of karma. So slowly, all these things, these satisfactions, ninefold. So we'll just go through them quickly. They are connected with Prakriti, nature, material padartha, time and good fortune. So they are all classified. Some are connected with nature, some are connected with time, some are connected with the mixture of time and, you can say, matter, and something like the randomness. No? I was talking about there's something, the everything is working under laws in this universe. Yet at the same time, there's a kind of a randomness. There's kind of a loophole. There's a kind of a place where you can get out of this. So this is that is spoken about as good fortune. There's no good fortune rather, but certain things are there that help you escape certain longish journeys. So just a few days ago, I seen a truck driver got a lottery. He won the lottery of 300 million. 300 million. So what is this? If I could have got it, it would be better. Or if you could have given me 1 million, I would have been happy. So how does this thing occur? How do you explain these things? It's like something like good fortune. So even Sri Ramakrishna mentioned it indirectly. Hadat said that is you come across something which you never expected. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of a poor boy. He gets a news that his some uncle of his whom he didn't even know and didn't even see left a kind of inheritance. Hey, so here you are. Something happens without any kind of so nature, material, time, good fortune. As I said, we won't go into the long list of enumeration. What is this? So there are some people who are saying, "Oh, you see, to live, other beings have to die. They might be insects or bacteria or plants or animals. They have to die for you to live. That is a great life. We are in this food chain and we are like the top predator. Oof. Nobody can now eat us up. We are on the top of the food chain and there we are. We can take everything. It's meant for us. This chain ends with us. Swami Vivekananda has mentioned about this. Every breath we take is death to millions. Every morsel we take is taken from someone else. And that's the reason why they say don't waste food. You don't know that this food that's being wasted is being taken from someone else. Because there's a kind of a balance, Of course, when you throw a food, it might go to some insects or birds or something like that. But life always lives on life. That's important. So other things have to give up their life for us to live. This is the great sacrifice that's here.
That made me think about prana and thought kind of draining prana. So does thought need prana?
Yes. You see what happens? This is your body, one side. This is the mind. We've got this. What links the mind with the body? Prana. Prana enlivens the body, keeps it alive. At the same time, it also makes the mind function. So prana is always associated with the mind. Of course, the mind itself is called sometimes as prana. The soul itself sometimes called prana. Prana is it is a material. Mind is a material, like body is a material in a spectrum. The denser you can say matter is, that's a body, and as the spectrum comes lighter, the mind here. So prana is there all through. prana cannot function without matter. Got this? So, yeah. So at times your mind is dominant. You feel so powerful. You know that your prana is like that, is there, vibrating very rapidly in your mind. So yes, you need prana for the mind. Ah, there is an old story in the teaching in the Chandogya Upanishad. So all the sense organs were quarreling amongst each other. Who is the greatest in our body? So they went to, they kind of took a kind of a delegation. They couldn't settle who was the greatest. They went to their father, Prajapati, the creator. So Prajapati, he's seen they are all quarreling amongst themselves. If that person's absence, this body will start, you can say, putrefying, rotting. He's the greatest, he or that is the greatest. So the I said, I'm going out for a year. Let's see. They went out for a year, returned. How are you? He was there. You're fine, like blind people. Oh, everything was okay. Then the year went out for a year. And then what happened? Could you live without me? Yes, like deaf people. And then speech went out for a year again. Could you live without me? Yes, like dumb people. We live. The mind is saying, now it's my turn. Mind goes out. And mind goes out and say, come back. Then he's saying, now let me see the fun. How are you all? You're fine. Like you see, like dull-witted people, or you can say babies, stupefied people. We were there. We are eating through this mouth and seeing to the eyes and this and that. Everything was okay. Oh, it was so depressing. It entered back in.
He what?
It mind entered back in after that 1 year. Then prana got up. And as it got up, this is like a strong horse pulling at all the pegs, which it has been tied to. Hey, you are the greatest. You are the greatest. You should say, yeah. And they started praising him. So that's a prana. So it is linked to the mind, to the senses, to the body. If it comes out, everything is uprooted.
Is that what they call chi? Is that in Chinese called chi? Is that the
China
same
is,
thing?
yeah,
Yeah.
chi. That's a chi. Chi, prana. Tai chi.
Tai chi, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a dance, rather, it's not a exercise. It is awakening this prana in certain areas. Prana works in kind of some meridians in the body. You know about this thing. So that's where this acupuncture thing, right? You can awaken certain channels which are dormant, and then the chi that flows through, and that part is cured, or whatever disease.
Pranayama.
Hmm?
And pranayama.
Yeah, so pranayama is. The problem is pranayama, if you don't do it properly, the brain gets fried. But if you can do it properly, it's a very quick and fast method. But then Sri Ramakrishna advises, you see, bhakti gives you an automatic kind of, I can say, kumbhaka. Kumbhaka is kind of, your breath stops. There's no outflow, there's no inflow. That's what actually you want in pranayama, the kumbhaka. So bhakti does it. Why do you need to? Yeah. So it's a safe way to attain kumbhaka. So when you're meditating suddenly, and then suddenly what happens as you're meditating? what happens? You get an automatic kumbhaka. And then what happens is suddenly your mind, which you were struggling so long, fighting, suddenly it opens up. Kind of a vastness comes, and there you are. So the prana has got a kind of a stambhita, that is in the kumbhaka. Kumbhaka actually it's a kind of a pot. Like prana is not confined in the kind of a pot. There is no movement of prana. So suddenly then and that prana then expands. And then this is called certain powers arise due to that. Certain perceptions arise due to that. But like Sri Ramakrishna says, you can do it. Love for God. So like when you, suppose you're doing this long range shooting, okay, you're practicing for the Olympics. How do you practice? Before you pull the trigger, you got to hold your breath. Then you pull. Or your archery, or your lifting weight, your weightlifting. Now what do you do? These are all some types of pranayama. You got to hold your breath for power to build up and to concentrate. You know, in it. Suppose, oh, it took my breath away. Suddenly you're focused. Suddenly you get a kind of a. So any high-end activity anything that needs concentration, you also at the same time need to hold your breath, or the breath is held automatically. When you're archery, when you set the target, you're breathing, and then slowly your breath becomes slow. Then you hold your breath, and then you once again aim and release it. There you go. And after that, okay. So this is how we talk about this prana. Prana is always linked with the mind. Always, it has to be linked. Otherwise, there's as we've seen. So we have to see the satisfactions. Some say, as we have said, there is no satisfaction, no perfect satisfaction. So why there is one more. There is these successes. We'll take this up next time, next Friday. But here you want to see that there are various types of dissatisfactions, and you come to a stage where what will satisfy me? No, only spirituality will now. And how do you know? Because deep down we know we are spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings. We are not human. Everybody's saying, "Oh, you've got to be so human." And Swami Vivekananda's puja is saying, "Yeah, first thing, be a nice person." I teach the children to be a nice person. What is a nice person? Yeah, it's a better thing than to be a bad person. But teach your children that the child is divine, clothed in human form. So somewhere deep down, that thing percolates. We are actually spiritual beings, and we can be satisfied only with spirituality. Wow. Yeah. You may give a child a few toffees, chocolates, things. It will keep on. After a while, somewhere deep down, we will not be hypnotized for long. That spell will break. And that is very important. Hey, Here we are. There we are. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Paramastu.
Thank you.
Yeah.